All right. Hey, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Let's do it.
So we're diving into a story about the Lakers. And it's a comeback win that goes way deeper than just basketball. Imagine this. The Lakers are struggling. They're facing the Miami Heat, and Tyler Herro's just on fire.
Yeah, unstoppable.
And halftime arrives.
Wow.
Things aren't looking good. But here's where the story gets interesting, right? We've got this fantastic piece from Name of Source that captures everything. So let's unpack what went down and what we can all learn from it.
You know, what's really interesting here is J.J. Redick. He's the interim coach. He spends like the entire day before the game talking about communication and connection. He even calls out the team's leadership, or should I say, lack of it.
Yeah, that really stood out to me too. It's like he could sense something was off, beyond just like X's and O's. Their strategy.
Absolutely. And then he even challenges them again right there at the arena before the game.
Way before tip-off.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? Redick says, point blank, that leadership isn't just about giving these big rah-rah speeches.
Yeah.
He's talking about diving for loose balls, taking charges, taking care of the basketball. Like, actions speak louder than words.
Lead by example. It makes you wonder, though, did they buy in? I mean, they were still getting outplayed in that first half.
Well, the turning point comes at halftime. Redick, he doesn't change the game plan. Instead, he keeps hammering home his message, communication and effort, and what happens next. It's a perfect example of what he was talking about. Anthony Davis. He dives for a loose ball, just a hustle play, right? Nothing fancy. But it sparks something, like a chain reaction. The energy shifts. LeBron hits a three-pointer. That's leadership in action.
And that's when things just exploded.
Absolutely. The Lakers come out in the second half, totally different team. I mean, they just dominate. They outscore Miami 63-42. But it's not like some magical new strategy or, playbook. It's the players. They take ownership. They're accountable. They finally start communicating on defense. They break through Miami's zone, and they're just like there for each other in those clutch moments. Not just talent anymore. It's like pure will, driven by connection and purpose.
It's more than just like a few guys having a good night. Something bigger's happening here.
Definitely.
So how did that emphasis on communication actually lead to better plays on offense? How did they break down that zone defense Miami was throwing at them?
That's the question, isn't it? We see Rui Hachimura. He leads the charge with 23 points. LeBron puts up 22 points, 9 assists. Anthony Davis, monster game, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Plus, you've got Austin Reeves with 14 points and 14 assists. And Max Christie comes off the bench, 16 points. But if you look closely, it's the way they're playing together that's just like, wow.
So let's break it down. What were those little things that Redick kept talking about? The details, the things that maybe the average fan wouldn't even notice.
Okay, so for starters, their ball movement in that second half, it's night and day. They're making these quick passes, finding the open man, cutting through Miami's zone like it's nothing.
Wow.
It's almost like they could anticipate each other's moves, That speaks volumes about their communication and trust.
Yeah, for sure.
And on defense, they were actually, talking to each other, pointing out screens, rotating like a well-oiled machine. They were a unit, not just 5 guys out there.
It's the difference between a team and a bunch of talented players.
Exactly.
So when we zoom out a bit, what's the bigger lesson here? I mean, what does this game tell us about leadership and teamwork, especially when the pressure's on?
I think it reminds us that true leadership, it can come from anywhere, not just the star player or the coach. It's about everyone stepping up, taking responsibility, even when things get tough. Remember that quote from Anthony Davis?
About staying connected.
Yeah. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, we can't just be front runners, only connected when we're winning. We got to be the most connected when we're down. Powerful, right?
Yeah, it's easy to celebrate when things are good, but it takes real strength to stick together when you're facing adversity.
Absolutely.
This game, it wasn't just about one comeback. It was about something deeper, staying connected no matter what.
Right. It makes you think, where do you see this in your own life? Have you been part of a team at work, maybe in your personal life, where that connection made all the difference?
I'm thinking about this project I was working on once. It was falling apart, actually. Tight deadline, everyone's stressed, pointing fingers. It wasn't until we all, took a step back and really listened to each other that things turned around.
There you go. That's exactly it. Recognizing that we're in this together, finding a way to support each other even when it's tough. And, it's not just about the players. Redick, he acknowledges the coach's role, but he really emphasizes that it was the players, their resolve, their connection, that won them the game.
Like they had the tools, but they had to choose to use them.
Right.
It's about like empowering each other to find their own leadership within the team. But this idea of like being connected, it goes way beyond the basketball court, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Think about, the stuff we face as a society. Climate change, social injustice, economic inequality. Those are huge, complex issues, and they require us to work together, Be willing to bridge divides and have a shared commitment to something bigger than ourselves.
We need that same teamwork and resilience, that refusal to give up even when the odds are stacked against us, like what the Lakers showed us.
And that's what's so interesting about this, this whole story. This Lakers team, with Redick leading them, they've shown this pattern of bouncing back, being committed to growth. It's not just one game, it's like a mindset they're building.
They're learning from their mistakes, using setbacks to fuel their journey.
Exactly. They're not avoiding challenges, they're embracing them. And that's a powerful lesson for everyone, I think. Think about a time you faced a big obstacle in your life. Did you let it defeat you? Or did you learn and grow from it? Did you ask for help? Or try to go it alone?
It's easy to focus on winning and losing, but how we react to those tough times, that's what matters. This Lakers game, it's a good reminder we can all grow, we can all be resilient. It's not about being perfect, it's about having that courage to keep learning, keep getting better.
And what I find so interesting is this isn't just a sports thing, right? These ideas, connection, resilience, leadership, they're everywhere. Your job, your relationships, even personal goals, Ever notice how when you feel like you're part of something bigger, you're working towards something together, you can really achieve some incredible things?
Yeah, it's like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Like on our own, we've all got our good stuff and our weaknesses. But when we come together, when we share a vision, when we're there for each other, that's when amazing things happen. This deep dive, it shows us that leadership, it comes in a lot of forms. What does leadership look like to you? Where do you see it? On the court, at work, even in your own life?
Yeah, it's not always about being the loudest person in the room or having all the answers. Sometimes it's about just, stepping up and doing those little things that make a difference, like Anthony Davis diving for that loose ball. It's about inspiring the people around you by what you do, by how committed you are to the team.
And, we tend to think of leadership as like specific roles, titles. But what if we all thought of ourselves as leaders in our own way? Maybe it's speaking up for what you believe in. Maybe it's helping someone out. Or maybe it's just showing up with a good attitude, ready to work hard.
Exactly. Leadership, it's not a position. It's how you think. It's how you act. It's about inspiring and helping those around you to be their best. So as you go through your day today, think about the Lakers. Think about that comeback. Remember that connection is powerful. Remember how important it is to keep going. And remember that each of us, we have the potential to do great things when we choose to lead, however we can.
It's a good reminder. We're all in this together. And like the Lakers showed us, we can do incredible things when we choose to connect, to support each other, and to never give up on going after something bigger than ourselves. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep leading.